Want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. One of the things that I thought about in past for Easter was what were the emotions that were involved? Because certainly Easter has a lot of emotions that are involved. You have sorrow, you have curiosity, you have hope, you have despair, you have all these kind of emotions they are mixing in. And I think the same can be said with Christmas. So as I thought about it, I said, what do I want to talk about for Christmas? Well, let's talk about the emotions. First one is curiosity, because in the case of John the Baptist, who was the forerunner of Christ, who was the one to prepare the way, there was certainly a great deal of curiosity. Who is this guy? And, the birth, it was a miraculous birth. His father, who was struck unable to speak. But then when they asked what the child's name was, and they said John, he wanted to be John. He wrote on a tablet. Then his mouth was loosened, even though there's nobody in the family named John. So people were wondering, what in the world is this? And, could this be, the long-awaited Messiah? So all this time, there's this curiosity. And I think the same can be said today. I think certainly you have a lot of things that kind of mitigate against curiosity, but there's still sometimes a curiosity. I remember one time asking a guy in RCIA about his religious background. And he said that his dad was secular as a Jew, but secular. His mom was secular Protestant. But I always had a curiosity of the church. I always had a curiosity of the New Testament. And so when he was in college and somebody asked him if he wanted to go to Mass, he said, yeah, he wanted to do so. So that was his kind of introduction to it. So I think there's still this curiosity involved. The other one is kind of a anger or worry. We think about when the baby Jesus was born, you have King Herod, who was said, well, wait a minute, how can this be the king of the Jews? I'm the king of the Jews. Who is this guy? Who's this baby thinking that, that everybody's thinking he's the king of the Jews? I'm the one. So he went about killing all the children. But, there's still this kind of an anger sometimes. The people will put up roadblocks. We think about the Roman Empire and, that there was waves of persecution within the Roman Empire, but still today, waves of persecution against Christianity, countries going against Christianity, not wanting Christian Bibles or message to be spread. So the idea of anger and worry. The other one is no room at the inn. When Jesus and when his parents came to Bethlehem, there was no room at the inn. And I think that the same can be said sometimes in our lives. We have no room at the inn. We can't make room for Jesus. We have so much stuff there in our lives. We have so many things that are occupying our time. That, I know that I need to come to church, or I know I need to take my son or daughter to church. I know that I need to do that. But, there are basketball games or soccer games or gymnastics practice or all these kind of things that kind of go against what we want to do. But, when the kids get out of the house, that's when I'll come back to church. But then there'll be other things kind of filling that in our lives, so no room at the end. And then lastly, we see love. And that's really where the Lord wants us to be. When we think about Mary, and she was willing to have the Messiah be born in her. Now, she knew that her life would be changed. She probably didn't know everything about how her life would be changed, but it wasn't going to be this young girl married to a carpenter, living in the Galilee, doing all these kind of things. It would be very different. And so one of the ways that she did it was trust, that she had that relationship with God, and that led to trust. I always use this kind of an example. Let's say you're in a fast food place in a really shady part of town. If you're going to go to the restroom, are you going to leave your wallet with somebody who you've never seen before? Say, hold this wallet while I go to the restroom. But you would probably do so with a friend, say, I don't know about this place. Here, hold this and I'll be back, because you trust that person. And so really that's one of the ways that we really begin to think about how we can come to a loving relationship with God. It's really that spending time. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount of time because, the Lord knows that certainly there are people who are in monasteries who could spend a lot of time, but there are certainly people who are working and have families and really don't have a lot of time. But it's really that consistency that we're looking for. So if we haven't come to Mass on a regular basis, really think about start coming to Mass on a regular basis. If we, have never read the Bible, maybe pick up a gospel and start reading one of the gospels, just reading a little bit each day, and you can get through it. And then if that interests you, then you can move forward. But or praying the rosary, do different things that help us to really grow in our relationship with God. Really seeing Mary as that model of love and faith and willing to give her life. Because sometimes, we say, well, if I give my life to God, that God's going to somehow, make me do the impossible or make me do something that's, that I just don't want to do or I can't do. And really when we think about it is that even the people who are the saints who have been given impossible tasks, God gave them supernatural strength or supernatural ability to have them to get through it. But usually for most people, it's really just, spending time devoted to a family, devoted to the ones we love, praying for the people in our workplace, making sure that we're doing everything to provide a good, holy family for our families, and just spending a little bit of time with the Lord each day and consistently doing that. Because really, when we think about Christmas, the Lord came to bring us salvation. Our salvation is not based on ourselves. It's not based on, what we're doing. Our salvation is based on God. Our salvation is really that love of God and that love that then allows us to overflow to other people. Thanks. God bless. Merry Christmas.